All right, morning everyone. Morning. Lots to get through here. Hopefully you had a good weekend. We're going to push through here quickly so we can get through the charts because lots moving. All right, weekly chart. You can see very clearly we're opening up inside the previous week. Overhead, we still have this 2026 node. We are starting to increase the size of this node down towards 400, and I'd say even 300 starting to look like a very, very key level. All right, because we have a little LVN down here, or the start of it. So really no true downside pressure until we leave 300 and reject it and come for this move down to 28.8. All right, so you need to be very careful. This is acting like a magnet. All right, we're just stuck in and around here, just like we were earlier in the year. If you look at all these long wicks, we just couldn't really leave it until we finally left and rejected it for follow through. So we're doing the same kind of dance here. And in here, we have a very big choppy zone. All right, so must be aware of that on the bigger time frames. But the first thing, we're opening up inside the weekly chart. You can see we're also opening up right next to point of control, 5-day, 50-day, and 20-day. We're getting very tight here. Look at the Bollinger Bands, right? Well, I went over this in the newsletter, talked about it last week. They are starting to really tighten up here, right? So we went into expansion, and we've snapped back, and these are going to get really tight, and eventually the breakout of here will be very, very large if and when it does come. Well, it's not if, it is a when. All right, so just be cautious today. I'll also remind you it's a no news day on Friday. There's no news scheduled. Obviously, we have headlines from increased pressure in Iran and USA starting to shoot missiles and stuff again last night. So oil starting to break out. Also, UK and Europe, a lot of Europe are on bank holiday today, so volume might be lower. Be aware of that. Okay, moving into these hourlies. All right, just focus on this one. All right, we'll go through the process. Right, previous week's value area. Right here. If you read the newsletter, you might need to adjust these slightly. Certainly previous day will need slight adjustment because, as you know, I left. I did warn you in the newsletter if you read the whole thing. But we're opening up inside previous week's value. Okay, to the top half of it, you can see we've got an LVN down here. Right, and buyers need to show up in here. That's your 300 level. That's the key level I talked about. This is the 200 level. So if they really want to do deep tests, they can. It's also expected move today extreme. You're looking at 200 to 6 to 700. All right, so 3 to 2, 6 to 7. That's your range today on the most extreme parts of it. All right, so opening up inside of previous week, but above point of control. Slightly bullish in that stance, but what we can say is we are sort of backside with bulls trapped over previous week's value area high. So the balance range, they can create new balance in this LVN if they want, which is gross and ugly, and I really do probably expect them to do that. In terms of previous day, all right, we've got Friday's buyers trapped above us right now. So that's key, all right? So in terms of daily rotations, we have previous day trapped above us, so we're backside of this move. So if we reject previous day's value, all right, and maybe it might need to lift to previous weeks, then downside pressure can start, and the target would be all the way down here, wouldn't it? All right, so if we look at previous day, if we can't get back inside of previous day, or we poke inside and then reject, the target will be down here to point of control. So I am expecting a rotational day right now. The edges I'm going to be looking for are here and here, right? Do we react there, down to here? Do we react here, down to here? Do we get back under there, trade down to this block? All right. If we don't, and we push through and we base and we hold, then we're looking for upside. Or maybe they do a ping pong for a while, and then we're looking for upside up into this. And then from here, do we fail this? Do we fail this? Right? Or do we get over and search? Okay, so the battleground really is what I'm trying to say. 680, it's still a level. 680, 550, 450, 300s, and then 200s. Okay, so we really do need to be playing level to level. You don't really want to be diddling in the middle today. You are likely to be punished if you do that. Okay, in terms of gamma, we were opening up neg gamma. We're already back to zero line. As I said in Discord, it will we can get back through zero line. We were into a negative extension. We're coming back to this zero line, and things can change very, very quickly. So at the point in Discord when I wrote it, we were down here. We're already back to this zero line. If we get back up above here, right, neutral, this is your kind of chop block, and then it's starting to get into positive gamma up here. Underneath this, neg gamma, right, neg gamma extension, neg gamma. So regime change can happen pretty quickly. I'll remind you as well, it's last day of the month. All right, it is the last day of the month. Be aware of that. We get a new monthly bar tomorrow. So I'm really not looking for a whole lot today, folks. I think we just ease ourselves in, see what this market wants to do this week, get through today, and all the big news is coming later in the week as always. All right, ES, let's start getting through some of these. Whenever you're ready. All right, we need to flip these again. All right, so gap down on ES, yellow line's your gap from Friday. Stuck between neutral line and gap, same kind of story as NQ. All right, these are the areas that it's rejecting. These are the areas that are holding. That's your ping pong. Above this, they can search for the next area and pull back in. They can create the same ladder out here. If we lose, I'd certainly say 87s, there's your node. We lose 87s, we come searching for these stops down here into 70 and potentially 60. All right, so very, very similar to NQ. If we just go to NQ just very quickly, they are actually looking pretty similar today. All right, there's your block above, there's your gap fill. There's your block below, and there's your mid, and there's underneath. So ping pong, right, lose it, ping pong, lose it, this, above it, ping pong, above it, search. Okay, it's very, very similar today, but we are gapping down. All right, spiders, so you can just have those levels for those of you trading the SPY. All right, you can see we've lost that 770s. We're starting to lose 768s. All right, so we're going down into the next shelf. We can probably pull this up a little bit. All right, and it's the same story. All right, you'd need to recover 68s to have a shot at 70s. Otherwise, 68s to 66s is your rotation. You lose 66s, you rotate 64, 66, you lose that, you rotate 62, 64. So they're every 2 points right now if you're trading the spiders. Let's have a look at the Qs. Very similar again. All right, neutral zone into put wall. This is your big RBS zone. You can see it here, but we are losing this neutral sort of point here. And again, just level to level, you can see it, right? Level to level, we lose this. Maybe we test this old gap, we lose this, maybe we come down here. All right, maybe we ping pong there, maybe we flush all the way down to 700, which is the huge level. We get back above this, we ping pong, we get above this, we search for the top side of this, we get above this, we come to 720. It's probably gonna be a rotational day, unless fear really does take over, which is possible. All right, and this is why it's possible. Crude. All right, there's your tension. If we just zoom this out to 30-minute, we talked about this, didn't we? It's not back under 80. It still looks dangerous to me. I literally said it Thursday and Friday last week. It still looks dangerous to me. Everyone was calling for this thing to dunk. It still looked dangerous, and there you go. It didn't take a lot, and this is a problem. Above 80, this thing is a problem for inflation, and this is a problem. This is a problem, simple as that. If we start breaking out, you know where we're going, and that's tough on the market. All right, VIX is starting to price that in a little bit. We've talked about this compression in VIX. Let me just take this off quickly. All right, and we're starting to see that lift today. All right, so 15s, if we hold 15s, 15s to 16s is the rotation. You can see now, all right, if we do this, this break starts to look pretty good after such a big build out. And I wouldn't be surprised if later in the week and into next month, they start putting some pretty big levels up here, especially if crude keeps breaking. All right, and Dixie, oh dear. All right, here's the story. All right, it's back over that first key level as well. So if Dixie holds pullbacks now into 99.4s, this move here comes, all right? Mags, still holding up okay on an hourly, but if we move down the time frames, we're gapping down here, and we're going to come back to these 68.22s by the looks of it if we put this back on. All right, so we're gapping down, and it looks like it's going to come and test 68.22s. Remember, Mags finished the week pretty strong. This is the big level to come back to towards 68, 67, 68. So we'll see how we go there on the Mags. Semis getting dumped on. The close on Friday got absolutely dumped on after I left. They didn't want anything to do with NVIDIA. They sold a lot. That hawkish tone from Walsh started to sort of play out. So really, they've got to get back over 113s here. That was the level last week to get to 115s. It's the same levels, folks. If they get over 115s, we go 118s, 120s. But otherwise, if they keep stuffing 115s and they lose 113s, downside pressure comes back into the market. And in terms of software, well, that went on a ripper last week. Our swings in this are just looking magnificent. This looks like a huge breakout coming. If we go to a weekly, right, it's starting to really develop. If it can start getting back above 110s, it looks very, very, very good for upside after this undercut. That's the key. It's undercut, it's come back inside. If we start pricing that up and if semis stay weak, I am interested to see how much more I can hold on to that. So we're watching that. Individual names will be very quickly hit. Move very quickly here. Apple opening up pretty much flat on the day, building out some potential liquidity for that break of 322s, but we'll see. It might need to come back in a little bit if the market's weak, but it looks pretty good right now. Amazon gapping down, all right, coming back into first RBS zone 6250s. If it loses that, down into 260s. Goog coming back in as well, gapping down there, coming straight back into its RBS zone. All right, so failed to hold the break above. It's going to come and recheck this at 39s. If it loses that, 35s, and if it loses that, 30s. Microsoft, I mean, that looks awful. I wouldn't even bother. Sorry, Meta, that looks absolutely awful. No, thank you. Microsoft, this is one that looks good. Right, breakout with software last week, starting to price that back in. We're still long in softy. I'd like it to either pull back and show me it can base at 504s or 96s this week, or just get back above the 513s and start to hold the break. But I'm still long in that. We still look very, very good. Nvidia got absolutely nuked. All right, giving back most of its earnings. It still has gap fill potential all the way down here to 213s. It's actually long term, it still looks good. But just as a sector, the air's come out of it a bit. So we'll see if they want to hold this or if they're going to go early for this retest of 2024s. Was Friday a shakeout, or do they need to fill that gap before they do anything else? Tesla not really going anywhere after that good run, just building out in a range for the last week and a bit. All right, that be that. What has happened there? Well, there's your first bug. That's why we don't release it yet. Okay, folks, here we go. Here's your open print. I get some volume on here. Opening up right at that zero line. Here's a move through previous day's value area low. Remember, gap fill is up at 219s right now. Is that right? 290s, sorry. 219s, 290s right now. Gap fills here. If they poke above it, previous week value area. And we'll see what they do with it as we reach up here. Do they start to stuff this early? Previous week 550s. There's your gap now filled. Semis off to 115s right now. They're checking zero line. So they bid 113s back to 115s. They actually bid off 111 this morning, so they came deeper straight through the 113s. They're trying to get up to 115. This thing's trying to reach previous week value area high right now, and I'll watch it. If we come up there and we stuff it, I'll watch it. Yes, around zero line. Spiders, what are you doing? Can't get up to 68s. Q's through the gap as well. They're looking for 18s. Sorry, folks, I'm just having to look around here. Mag pulling downside here, but inside opening range. This is all from the semis. They're now at 115s. This is their level. They're now at the 115s. And if they break over 115s, they're going to look for that Friday break at 115.50s for that shove right back up. So that's where we're at. I'm watching this level now to see if they fail or hold. And if they hold this, then I'm going to assume we're coming for 550s, and then we'll make a decision up there. Want to zoom in a bit here? Okay, stuffing against those 15s for the first attempt, which is normal. I want to see if they rebid this and take it back up. Here's the flush off it. All right, let's see now if we fail the next pop. Pops fail here, I'll get short. There was a seller that came in at 500, so that's what I'm watching. That's the LVN flush. Little piece on. I really want this to come up to 90s. I've got a little piece on here. Here we go, back down to previous day value area low. Right, let's see if we can hold through this. Really nice. Covered a little piece there into New York Open. I haven't got much size here, so we're just trying to hold on here. Really good. So there's the shove and fail. Now, if we can get under this zero line, we can really start washing. I'll take a break even plus a little bit if we reclaim 69s here, which will come straight back up to. Stop is at 69s right now. I've only small size on. But I'll make at least $100 here on that move, and maybe give me the chance to add in. Try and let this work now. Happy to take the stop if this wants to lift up to 90s and then fail. And that was all on semiconductors. That was the 115s fail. All right. So if you were watching that level pre-market, you can see we talked about it. We talked about it last week so many times. So I will eat my stop here if we come through this point of control node. There's an LVN above. The reason I'll eat it is I'm happy to take it and then add back in if we fail up here. But what I'm concerned about is if semis do bid through the 115s, is this move here, and then I might look for the same move there. I don't want to fight it. I'm trying to play the range at the moment. Absorption at the lows there. This in. It's looking okay. Nice. Let's get under this New York Open if we can. Beautiful. Fuck yeah. Right, can we stay heavy now? Nvidia getting absolutely nuked. Back down to previous day lows. Nice. Semis, big reaction off that. All right, they're trading 113s now. So this is the 113 to 115 rotation we saw Thursday, Friday last week. So we'll see if we get follow through now. Big level down here. VWAP. Zero line. This is going to be choppy around here, folks. If we get under this, then we can start attacking these lows. But expect this to chop around, right? Don't be too aggressive trying to chase this lower. Come on, baby. Let it go. Let it go for us. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Right, I'd like to get previous week open. Then I'll consider ads when we get under here. Really nice. Covering a little bit more. Fuck yeah. There's previous week open tagged. If we can clean this out and stay heavy, I'll consider an add if we start flipping all of this. But otherwise, I don't want to add in this block, right? Because if we're thinking about the H1, remember, I'm always looking at the H1. We don't want to add into this RBS zone, right? We don't want to add into here. This is value for the current week, right? We're not adding into there. We're short from here, covering some. But if we flip this and stay heavy, then we can think about that move. What's this node here? 40s. I might use that as protection now and move my stop down. Yeah, I'm going to move my stop to 40s here and protect New York Open. Just above it in that LVN. Just in here. That's where my stop is. Remember, our entry is up here. There's a little divergence at this low right now. If we don't break a new low here, then I expect the squeeze back up. Here we go. Coming back towards my stop here. Stops at 40s, just above that New York Open. Hopefully they protect it. If they don't, it's fine. Still early in the day, folks. We're only 7 minutes through. P1 is down here as well. So that put wall holding up right now. If we flip that, we can go negative extension and the market can start moving a bit quicker. And I'd say, well, I don't want to add there, but if we start staying heavy under, it's tricky in that LVN, under 50s, we can look for that move down to 300s. Obviously, under 300s, we're looking for 230s or 225. I think that was in the newsletter, unless it's changed, but there or thereabouts. Just watching NVIDIA here because it didn't sweep. Didn't sweep Sunday's low yet. Remember, it's 24-hour trading now, so it didn't sweep Sunday's low yet, but it's trying to trade back inside. It has lost all its pre-market levels. I'm paying attention to it. All right, semi's looking really good. Under the 113s, if we stay heavy now. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. If we can get under this put wall and get under this blue box, I will potentially, if we then trade back in and I see them stuff it, try and trade all the way down into expected move. So 300 to 200 will be my target. And I will try and get an add if they flush this out and can't reclaim. All right, so what I'm saying is, to make it make sense, we're short from up here. We've trimmed some. If we come down here, right, I will try, if they do it, and look for this move here as an add. All right, and then my call will probably move to about here. All right, so I'll try and look for that, but we have to break the lows first. I have to see all the stops get run out and then reject to come in, and then we can look for these down here. It's looking good so far. So we're under Friday's value, inside previous week's value. I would be very cautious about starting in new money shorts down here, though. I would say that. I'd be very cautious. You want it above 440s for the fail lower? I mean, it can do. It's about to knock me out if it does do that. I'd say the problem would be if we start finding acceptance back inside 470s, right? Just based on what we did last week, if they get inside 470s, then they're in the high volume node, because we had like a double distribution last week, and then they're going to attack 520s, and if they get above that, then they're looking for 640s. So it's like, it's that 440 level is a pretty big level. There to 70, 440 to 470 is a pretty big level for sellers to defend if they are going to truly look for a breakdown on a Monday. We are expecting a range here, all right? So it's possible we don't go anywhere today, remember. NVIDIA's bidding right the way back up. It's a really strong bid the last 5 minutes for NVIDIA, back to its opening point here. So they're going to make a decision here. Semi's following suit. They've come back to New York Open after closing the gap. So far, there's some absorption down here, but we keep rejecting just in front of my stop, which is a good sign. 5-day auction does look pretty good right now. I'm not convinced we've finished making lows. There's absorption here, but we'll see. A lot of this watching NVIDIA, watching the mags. If we come over here. All right, this is what we're watching. Software with the bid again this morning. Everything actually bid the open, and then semi's coming back in. Mag kind of going sideways. Software pulling back, and I expect it to have another go soon. We look okay. We look okay. If this starts ripping up, we don't look so good. At the moment, we look okay. I should say sort of final target for this is here before I add, so it'd be like 100 point. All right, semis coming straight back through neutral point here into their VWAP. So they failed 115s, failed 113s, closed the gap at 111s, found a bid off the gap fill. They're back to New York VWAP at 113s again now. Here comes my stop. Yeah, stopped out there. Can always get back in. I'm actually happy to get back in here if we do start stuffing this kind of LVN up here. Let's move this over so you can see it a bit better. Right, so what I'd say is up to 70s. From where we are now to 70s, sellers need to defend. Where's 70s? Here. All right, they need to defend this move here. If they start doing this, I would not really be interested in any more shorts today. So there's the flush off it. Yes, the Alex trade. How's your luck? Oh, great. Took me by a whole 1.5 points there. You to do the Alex trade on me. Fantastic. Happy fucking birthday, Alex. All right, if we pop to 25s and around there, I might have another go. Let's see. Semi's just stuffed 113s. Vidya's still holding on. Mag's not really doing a whole lot. Q's, yeah, we're just trading between put wall and zero line right now. So the chop started. ES looks like it's got room here if it wants to let go. I think there's a trade further down. We're at these sort of Globex lows and we haven't sweat them yet. So I think there's potentially a trade lower here on ES still. Oh yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, my birthday was yesterday. It's not today, but yeah. I had a good time. My wife was very kind, took me away to the desert for the weekend, and we just had a calm. I said I don't want to do anything too much today. I just want to relax, which is exactly what we did. Alex, good morning. Question: when you say previous day, are you talking about Friday or Friday, mate? I'm always, if I talk about a previous day's price, it's always the whole session. I don't consider Sunday at all. I mark Sunday's level out, but that doesn't count as a daily level, because if you would put a daily chart, right, if you go to candles, you're not going to get a daily chart on the futures for Sunday. Sunday just counts as Monday. The same way after close today will count as tomorrow, right? After the 5 to 6 period, the reopen at 6, it counts as Tuesday. Positive, negative, or are we neutral? Well, we've gone negative, but neutral point's just here, right? So they're trying to, really, we get into negative extension under here. This is why I'm saying I'm cautious at the moment. I'm now out of it, right? So this is the battle, right, is here. If we get under this, I'm interested in that extension move. It's knocked me out of position now, so I would have to be very careful about looking for that at this point. We did pretty well there. Your best cover today was not bad, about 85 points to start the day. We weren't risking that much. It's a solid start. And I'll look for the same thing, but I just want to see how we trade between 40 and 70 at the moment. Again, if you just look at H1, we do want to be careful down here. I do think there's a chance for it to slide a bit. It's going to need semis to sort of let go a little bit. So they're coming right back to the 113s. They're rejecting 113s. They're trading between 113s right now and 112.40s, which is New York Open. So we're watching that. All in good fun. I told you so. Hey, nice one, Kevin. I still think I think we're coming down here. I want to wait at the moment to see what we do. I don't want to be out of position. Here's your opening range break. So if you didn't get knocked out like me, you're looking good for this break lower. I'm going to have to join later and let it trade under all of this and then reject it. And if it doesn't, if it just flushes it all, that's okay. I'm happy to leave that alone because I don't want to chase out of position. Position was here, right? I'm happy to look for something like this so I can have tight risk. If it flushes the whole thing without me, it is what it is. I'm okay with that. All right, semis just broke through 113s. Big bids come in here in semiconductors out of a little bit out of the blue there as they're trading back up to 114s here. So remember, up to 70s here is key. If they get through this, then they trade right back upside. So that bid off that blue zone. So that H1 level holding, this is why we don't add late. So I was saying we'd have to leave that area for me to add it. So back to neutral again, and they can try and get up to 540s if they can get through the 70s. 70s looks a pretty big level. If we look at the hourly chart, 75, we get thick from 75, and the next level then would be 550s, right? So 70s is the level. If we trade back under 40s here, this would be a failed attempt to get back into that high volume node. So it would somewhat perk my interest. The chop has started by the looks of it. It was a pretty big bid, that lift. It was a pretty big bid. ES did sweep Globex as well and turned upside. Well, at the moment, rejection of 70s up here. I would need to see it trade back under 40s and stay heavy. All right, here's the 40s. So that's the 70s to 40s. This is all based on the hourly. If we stay heavy under 40s, I'll look for a short now. That's the level. We just did everything I talked about. We rejected. I can show you why I was looking at this. Right, it's very, very simple. This node here, 70s, right? You see this from last week? Thin under this, right? So if we stay heavy here and we come back under here, we can look for this trade into the LVN. All right, if they reclaim this, for me, it's no shorts because they can try and grind back up. So 40s to 70s is the level just based on volume. All we've got to do is look at last week's volume. All right, Neil Copham, watching this now. Is there a way of me getting involved here? Walsh is talking. I can't see anything with him talking at the moment. Not sure why he'd be talking. He had all of Friday to rattle off some bullshit. Blah, 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 blah. He was actually pretty hawkish. All right, rejection there. I'm going to try shorts here at 40s with a tight stop, if it will fill me. 40s to 47s actually looks pretty good. 47s, if I can get filled up there, looks pretty good. So I'm looking for shorts at 47s and I'll risk 55s. If it will come up. Look at that off point of control. I said there are buyers down there. There's no doubt about it. There are buyers down there. There is no doubt about it. Right, we'll see if we can come up to 47s. There's the swipe through. All right, well, I'm short. Oh, cut that already. And get back in if they stuff against that high. That was a nasty move through. All right, back in short again. Just risking that 60 high. Out again. You know what's coming. You fucking know what's coming. Eating stops for no reason here. You're being cruel, market. This will be third time if I have another go at this. I don't want to chase down here. This is where the sellers were. You fucking cruel, cruel bastard. Twice then in, what, a minute? This is where the sellers keep getting stuck. So I don't want to chase it. I wanted to be short up here, risking value, and we just nipped through it twice. Could have maybe risked this LVN up here. Maybe that was the better move. I was trying to short in this LVN, risking the top of this. Took me twice. I'll consider one more go here if we get failed follow through. What's that edge there? 47s. Same level. Who got stuck at the top? 73s. It wasn't a lot though. What's the number up there? Come on, Bookmap. Come on, Bookmap. I need to see this number. 147 sellers. So they restuffed it hard. I don't know, man. I don't think I want to trade this at the moment. We're moving a bit wonky. It's skipping through these levels up and down. And I already had 2 goes up there. Why does New York Open always consolidate? Well, I mean, it's got nothing to do with New York Open. It's to do with where New York Open is opening. It's also to do with, do we have any news today? No. Are we digesting the volatility that came after lunch on Friday? Yeah, probably. Right, so it's not to do with New York Open. It's more to do with there's not a lot going on. Is there a possibility to reclaim 500s? There is, but like I said, 70s is the level, right? 70 up here is the level, and that's not from today. This is from last week, right? So we're thicker above this last week, and we're thin in here. So this is why I was watching this to see if they stuff it. Remember, we've gone over this on the hourly. So I'd say basically from 75s, we actually get thick. There are some like a few little LVNs in there, but we're actually thick all the way to 660s, and the big spike is at 610. So I'd say if we trade through 75s, I'm not really that interested in the short side. What are these candles? I know, mate. I know. They're a bit funny here. I would agree with you. They're poking back into 75s here. Semis have caught a little bit of a bid. They're back over 113s. Nvidia's stuck in its inside range. Mags also caught a bid. They're just hanging out at previous day low right now. No break upside, fail break downside right now. That's all we're seeing at the moment in the mags. Spies back to VWAP. ES might want a 7-7 test here. That was your attempt to get back inside of 75 and LVN and reject. So shorts are still controlling here. This is still the level where sellers are maintaining control. This is the important level, right? Through that, I'm not interested. What I'm looking for is this kind of move here for confirmation. It's what I've had 2 attempts at. I'm just being a bit patient right now, but this is certainly being protected by sellers. Rightfully so, not just based on today's time frame, based on previous week. We're just running out of room. That's the big problem right now. Oh. Weird action, yeah. I kind of agree. It feels slightly janky. It does feel janky. Back to these 40s. I will watch these 40s again because I want confirmation underneath that. Point of control is at 30s now, though. So maybe if they sell, what's this last node? Maybe if they sell 48.50s, maybe I'll put a starter on here again. My concern is I really need to risk 75s, and they keep holding, and we're starting to flip high, low here, and I want to be careful of too many people looking for the same trade. If it gets crowded and they lift it, it would get nasty. All right, one more attempt here then. Small size in at 50. I'll give it room to... I might even give it 20 points up to 70, to be honest. Small size, we'll see. Come on, break under 40 and get going. All right, this is better. This point control keeps being absorbed here. We need to start accelerating down. Once we start accelerating, I'm going to move my stop, break even. Someone absorbing down there, man. That point of control. See money, take money, mate. This ain't doing shit, is it? It's Nvidia back towards high day. That's lifting it, everything at the moment. Thing is, if that breaks high day, it's going to break the base. And I'd say Nvidia through 220s comes straight back up to 23s. So we don't want to hold into this. If Nvidia starts breaking high day, it can get really nasty really quick. So willing to sit in this for now. I've got one eye on that chart over there. I need this underneath 26s right now to start feeling comfortable. What a battle. This is gross. Come on, get under 26s and start going away for me. So sorry, I should probably put this in. This is what I'm looking at. Same kind of story. Looking for this edge here and then lower. It really isn't moving for me at the moment. That point of control, very sticky. They're bidding off it non-stop. We do have imbalances above. We've got to be really careful with that. Really careful with that. Point control again. Sellers trying down there, getting absorbed. Yeah, Nvidia's going. I'm moving my stop a bit tighter here. I'm going to protect 54s. If we can get a new low in this candle here under point control, in fact, I'm doing it now. I'm going break even now. I'm not going to get washed out if Nvidia breaks. I don't want to get filled on a nasty candle. So my stop's break even now. I'm down into 48.75. So I'm protecting this because I don't like Nvidia's trading around higher day. My concern is if Nvidia breaks that 220, it can lift fast. That's my concern right now. So I'm being proactively protected. New York session's untradeable. It isn't untradeable, mate. You guys need to relax. You make such big statements. Like, it is not untradeable. It's the most tradable session available. If we're just building liquidity for 31 minutes, right, that doesn't reflect the whole session. Relax. Relax. All right, if we move under 25s, we're going to look real good here. So you can TP. If you want to TP some into VWAP, you can. I don't have enough size to TP anything here. I'm looking for down here. And then I'm going to look for ads under this. Looking a bit better here. I'm going to walk my stop down a little bit to 40s. This is looking better now, folks. Let's see if there's lots of imbalances into value area low, so you might want to trim some down there. Honestly, don't have enough size to trim, so I'm just trying to hold it. Here we go. This is value area low. It's untradeable. Then why are we moving quite nicely? We just have to be patient. Here's your TP1, right? TP2, and then TP3 is down here. I'm trying to see if we'll do this move for me at the moment because I don't have enough size on to take anything off. So that's what I'm looking for. Into value area low for the session. You should TP something here, folks. You really should be paying yourself something here. They can protect this. Nvidia is still right near high day. I'm concerned about that. Low volume with London close. Yeah, it's what I said right at the beginning of the day, pre-market. All right, Europe or certainly UK is on bank holiday. Absolutely. Have to be aware of that. Expect low volume. It's looking good so far. Here are the imbalances. Let's see if we can get a new low of day here. And if we get really lucky, underneath this, we're going to get this. If we get really lucky, we're going to get all the way down here. But we should be trimming here no matter what. You shouldn't be chasing market here. This we're at the edge of the D, right? At the edge of value. Nvidia looks very, very dangerous here to me for a breakout. So that stop you have, it better be in the money. Because if this thing starts ripping 220s, this market's going to struggle to move lower. So we're positioned for it. All we now can do is control our exits, right? We've controlled our entry. We now need to control our exits. So trim some here. We'll look for expansion, but we're not going to add down here. We'll just see if we can wash all this out. Here we go. New lows coming. Come on, baby. Give me new lows and then just wash it for me. Big level here. This is value area low for the current week down here as well. Since Sunday. Nvidia so close to breaking. As in breaking higher day. $2,950, $2,1950 and 220 are the levels Nvidia. If it breaks that and holds the bid above, I expect a squeeze back up on Nvidia. That's why I'm a little bit cautious here. There you go. Straight back up to these 35s. Come on. Just be kind. Finish the trade for me. I can be done for the day then. Don't even need to watch it at that point. Come on. New lows, please, sir. Nvidia's going. It's trying. Just one wash, please. Just one wash. Fail to break on Nvidia and just wash this out for me. Please, sir. Please, sir. New lows, please. Here we go. Come on. Complete this auction. New lows, please. Come on. 94s. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. Come on. Come on. Wash them out. Come on. Bingo, bango. Let's go. All right. Take a piece off here if you can. I haven't got much size. And we'll see if we get lucky down here. And I would say my stop's going to move to 90 to 400. I'll move it to 400s. What regime are we in? Well, if you ask me now, it's going to change because we're right between it. This was neutral into negative, possibly into negative extension, back into negative, back into neutral above here. I mean, that's how quickly we're moving today. And if you're in the Discord, we talked about this, right? I put it in. We talked about it right here. All right, opening up neg gamma. So increased pressure and volatility, although it should be noted the flips levels are not very far away, so we can change regimes today if they want to, which is what we're seeing. They're just flipping regimes. We expect this on a more of a rotational day. All right, just ran my stop out there because I didn't give it enough room. So what a bastard. Still sit in this if you're sat in it, as long as you've taken a partial, and you can look for downside pressure. Nvidia just had a go into 219.49. Remember, 219.50, it will start breaking out there. What's the indicator on top of the anchored volume profile? This, yeah, it's delta. It's delta. I'm working on this at the moment. It's not perfect yet, but I've got a few bits that I'm working on right now. It's not CVD. CVD's at the bottom. This is delta. This is a delta profile. It's kind of like this, but not as accurate, right? This is the delta of each tick, right? So it's sort of like that, but it's not as accurate. Trying to get you TradingView users something which is vaguely similar and responsive. Well, I'm not adding down here. I'm not starting a new position, so I've got to just sit still now. Looks good though. These look good. These look good. And moving in tandem. There's 9:30. Chopping a bit, but they're looking good. New lows coming for you guys. All right, if I was you guys, I'd be watching 360. 360, 300, 225. All right, 360, 200, 225. Those are your downside targets. I'm gonna thin this one out so it's a little bit easier for you guys. This. I'd almost say this edge here, really. Those are your targets. 360, 300, down here, 275 and 225. This one down here would be ideal. Do we have any? Do we not have any walls down there? Where are all the walls here? 430, 390, we're under both of those. 225 a little bit. 29,000 a little bit. 800s. What about later in the week? What's the end of week today? This week, 4th? 815, which is my 800 level. That looks really good for end of week. Same level we looked at last week. Mags this week, yeah, Mags is trading near lower day, but this is where I found a bid from. So Nvidia's starting to break out here, folks. I would be somewhat careful here. Nvidia can get going here. If it gets through 220s, this thing has got a shot. It's got a shot at squeezing out. Delta divergence at the lows, a slight bit, yeah, a slight bit. Lower low on price, higher low on delta, but not a huge number yet. But there is a little bit of it. There's definitely some absorption taking place down here at the moment, but I still think there's a chance to trade lower. There you go. Looks good. See if they can. You should be short from here. Hopefully you didn't get washed out like me. How much did that take me by? 5 points or so. There you go. New lows. All right. So this is your target. Here, 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 and here. All right. You're looking for these moves here. Should have paid yourself something already. What CBD is that? It's not available yet. Again, it's a CBD that I'm working on. What is it? I wanted to look at swing trading this week. Sorry, folks, give me a second. In my notes, where are you? Let Discord know. All right, Nvidia's starting to go. All right, this is the thing. Nvidia is what I was talking about. It's going. All right, there was your key level, 1950s up to 220. All right, and the reason it's a key level, if we zoom out, right, you've now been compact in here, and if they now base over this, right, given Friday's sale, they can come right back into these levels. All right, so they're gonna look at all of these levels for the squeeze up. I'd expect a failure up there. I'd expect failed follow through. All right, but we're in this part of the leg, and that might lift the market a little bit. That's what I was concerned about. Once it gets up there, I'm going to expect some form of failure. But if it really wants to, it can get all the way up to its first level. First level I'd look is 21s. Then I'd be watching 23s. Slow market. It goes Nvidia, 220 break. This is what I was talking about. No position for me right now. I've had my trades. Never got down, quite down to this level. Just waiting now. Don't want to play in this range at the moment. Mag finding a bid in front of low of day. It's coming back for VWAP test. We're just in a range across most of the markets here. If you look at the Qs, like if you look at the put wall and the zero line, like we're just dancing between the two. That's all we've done all day, really. If you think about this level here, right? Expansion would be outside. We're not. zero line can take us up to here. We haven't done that either, really. We're just really, most of the day has been spent in here so far. I know it's a young day. We're not even an hour in, but that's the story so far, right? So far. Unfinished auction here at 26s if it wants to come for it, which I assume it's going to come for because Nvidia is still moving higher and Max is starting to find that bid towards VWAP that we talked about. Just nothing to do right now, folks. Just sat on hands waiting. All the way up towards New York Open now. Rejecting in front of New York Open. That's your first failure on Nvidia. So 220. I really want to see it move to 21s really before it does anything else. So 220 failed over. Come back inside. It's going to test its pre-market high now. 219.35s. If it holds that, it's a pretty bullish hold on Nvidia. If it lets go of that, then it's a failed move higher. I'd like to see it go to 21s and above, if I'm honest, but we'll see. At least we'll have some range. How do I have hotkeys set up? I use crosshair keyboard. So it depends what you want, but I have like a break even +1, market orders, all out, all in. Am I not watching Soxal? Yeah, I'm watching it. It's currently trading at 113.14s. Right, but leader of the pack right now, as we've started rotating last week after earnings, we started rotating out of some of those names back into Nvidia because it's been slow. Nvidia sold off last week, so I'm watching that as leader of the pack right now. I'm watching the relationship between them. I have them both on my screen down here. All right, same with Max. Thanks, Aaron. Why do I watch Soxal instead of SOXX? Because everyone's leveraged up in this market. Everyone's trading on ridiculous leverage. So for intraday trading, it's actually more important. The GEX levels and stuff are far more accurate and they come in more. If you look at the percentage dive that SOXL did on that Leopold move versus what SOXX did, it was way, 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 way bigger. All right, the move even from level to level was far, far exceeded what the SOXX did because everyone's leveraged out of their minds right now in the market. And leverage works great all the time you're walking up. It doesn't work so good when you're under pressure. So that's why I watch it. You start to see the panic come in a little quicker. We actually went over it last week. That relationship. No worries, Ghost. But if you draw out if you pull them up side by side on a chart, Ghost, you go SOXX, SOXL, and you mark the key levels, right? See which one traded through them. You'll see the weakness on SOXL on that drive down that we had for, what was it, like a month ago or so? Way, way more because the leverage, the froth had to come out. All right, semis. Nvidia held, didn't even test pre-market, and it's pushing back through 220. So it's pretty bullish there, Nvidia. I think it wants to go at least 21s, if not 23s right now. Mag stuck at VWAP. We're going absolutely nowhere. We've had our 2 trades so far. I'm not really bothered about diddling in the middle here. It's just what I'm just sat doing nada. There ain't nada to do. Exhaustion up there from buyers. Back down to point of control again. Maybe they come and test value area low, 390s here. Yeah, here comes the test of value area low. This is where we start to expand if we can get under all of this. It's been unwilling to do it so far today. There is a seller caught at 84 so far this morning. I'll move back down. I'll watch this. What's this level here? 90s. Where did that buy just get stuck? 412s. All right, I'm going to watch 90s and 412s here. Sell side. I'm not looking at the reclaims. I'm watching them sell side to see if we pop up and fail. I'll be very careful if I do take them, but you come to 90s or all the way up to 413s, 412s. It's point of control, 407s. And they're just going to wash it without me. That might have been into 87s. What's that last big seller? 242, 95s. I want to be short in this. I want to be short in this. I'm not going to chase it though. I'm going to chase this. I think this breaks down. It's just going to go without me if it does. Yeah. It's annoying. It's annoying. It's annoying and they come piling in. So this is the 360s level. This is the TP we were looking for earlier. And then under here, all the way down into this block. I'll still look for that same trade. I'll see if they lift to 80s now, I guess. 80s to 84s. And if they sell that, I can get involved. Oh, they're buggers. Been reading it well today. Just getting an entry in and sitting in it is a little bit tricky. The best entry, these ones here, maybe we just should have sat in these all day and just let them work out until we get down here. So there's your 360. This is your first cover level if you were in this short. And then I'd be watching basically 300 evens. And then liquidity is sat at 270s. If we break 270s, I'm going to assume we're coming for 222s, 222, 225s, right? Which is this level here, which is what I felt like we could get. So we'll see if they pop and fail here. We want to be very careful because we've hit a big low hanging fruit. If we pop and fail, we're going to look for that. If they come back inside the range, we don't look for it. We just ignore it and we just let it trade and chop more. So last sellers came in at 80 and 83s. 90s is your value area low. So if we can lift up there, I will be somewhat interested. At the moment, it just doesn't feel like it's going to lift anywhere near that. There's old auctions down here, 320s it can go for and 300s. Oh, and Q. No happy birthday for me, eh? LVN's being washed out now, 370s. Just feels like a chase at this point, but I feel fairly confident we're going to come down into this block. Just ideally they lift up. So I'm not going to chase lower day. Hopefully they lift up. All right. Nvidia's finally coming back for that pre-market high check. This is important. It's trying to find a bid here. If it can't find a bid here, it's in trouble. I had a good pre-birthday session on Friday. That's true. I got the run up on Friday. That's true. All right, here we go. Let's see. LVN. Can we come a bit higher here? 80 and 90. It's a video of the bid off that level. I'll watch 80 and 90s here. If we lift aggressively and then I see them stuff it, I'll have a go. If we break through 90s, I'm not interested. Here's a move to 90s. Here's the lift. All right, I'm short there, risking that wick. Can I get my stop in there, please? All right, tight stop. Hopefully it works. Don't want a second leg up here, just want failures. Stops in either way, so very tight stop here. Basically 87, 88 stop. What is it? 80, 87 and a half, I think it is. 87 and a half stop. So very, very tight. Nice. Good. Right, let's see if we can get low day now. Don't really want it to come back above 80s now, so I might even get a bit aggressive, move my stop down, break even here, see if we can trade through low day and start washing. Don't you dare. Don't you dare doing a second leg. Leave my stop, please. You can trade lower day, please. Go away, Nvidia. Go away, Nvidia. Back over 220s. Don't like that unfinished auction left. I need a new lower day and I need it now. Stops break even right now. 84 and a halves. Come on. Nvidia, fuck off. Fucking thing's going to ruin it. Go away, Nvidia. It's going for a high day breakout. Ow. I don't know how it filled me there at 84 and a half when we didn't tap it. I guess maybe micros hit it. NQ didn't. I'm assuming micros hit it. That's some bullshit. Now it's hit it. It didn't get tapped. It filled me there. That's some. I was going to say that's some bullshit. What's that? It's done it now though. It's tapped it out now. Alex trade coming. You fucking know it every time. The reason I'm being tight with my stop is I don't want to see this trade back inside and just rip straight higher and slip me. So I'm out again. This is coming though. Is there a way of getting back in? I can't believe that. Oh, his fucking market's got my number at the moment. Oh. Why are we trading chop? Mate, this is not chop. Relax yourself. Like, this is outside of range. All right, there's some chop in here. All right, we're trading this. We're trading this. We're trying to trade this. All right, just because it doesn't give follow through when I want doesn't mean it's choppy. All right, look at this. All right, right now this is not choppy. We have to be pragmatic. The bigger problem here is the hourly levels, right? We've got to be very careful. So we wanted to be short this morning up here, and we wanted to cover this morning into this. And if we get lucky, we're going to get into this. And if we get very lucky, we get a stop run down into this, right? That's what we're trying to position for. The harder thing right now is we're losing position because the best short location's up here. So we're losing position. Trying to short here gets very, very risky. So because of that, I'm trying to narrow my stop down where I can. I don't want to get loose. I don't want to get loose with it. Yeah. You're looking for IB expansion. Yeah, I mean, the trigger for it is going to be very hard to get short under here unless we like come under and start really showing ourselves. But the expansion model lines up with where we're trying to trade into, right? Look at that. The 151, the 1.5, sorry, comes right into the next level. And if we think about 100% move, it's basically into previous weak point control, which would have been our ultimate target today if we did walk down lower. So we're still sort of washing around here. You can see this machine. The big thing at the moment is Nvidia is trying to get back up towards those 221s to 223s, right? So Nvidia's at higher day right now. It's holding the market up pretty well. I'd say pretty well at the moment. Big seller coming on the tape here. 70s trying to force this lower. Value very low is rejecting. I would say that. Put wall. All the time you're under 90s, there's possible pressure downside here. Trade inside of 90s though, and we come up to 410s and then 434s. So that's the story of the tape at the moment. How important are GEX levels to me? They're not the most important thing, but they are important, especially if they have a lot of volume on them. And more importantly is when they're further away and we're dictating regimes, right? So we use them for Confluence. At the moment, we're potentially in negative gamma to negative expansion. But like I said, they're very tight today. It's not like neg gamma is 500 points lower than the 0 line. Quite the opposite. Everything's very tight today. Right, semis back through that New York Open. They're just trapped between 20. This is why I had my tight stop. They're trapped between 24-hour VWAP and New York VWAP. And like I said, if we get through 90s, we can try and travel up to here. That's what I just said, 409s and then 435s. This was why it had to protect this level and why I had a tight stop. Because the break now takes it to here, and that's midpoint. And if they get over this top side, and then maybe they rotate this, maybe they find a bid over this, keep pushing. I don't know, folks, but we need to be very careful when we trade edges. That's all I know. Especially on a no news Monday. Tongue twister. A no news Monday. Back inside value again. No edge now. If you wanted to play long, you need this to come back down to 390 and support the bid. If you want to play the edge long now, if you're going to consider this a failed breakdown and it hit the 360s, which makes sense, you want this to come down here and hold this bid now for this move, and you need to be taking partials on the way up. If that's what you're thinking. If you're thinking, I'm going to trade the range today, this needs to be protected now by buyers. Yeah, no London, exactly. Bank holiday today. Volume is going to be low. All right, new high day for Nvidia. I still think it's got more in this. So it's at 2250s now. I think it's going to want to go to 21s. I either see a failure coming at 21s or it's going to come up at 23s. So it needs to make its mind up. But it is helping lift the market. Tesla as well, having a good day. 4.5% up right now on Tesla. The rest of the market's bleeding. Sorry, Tim. All right, so if you're a bull in this market, you need it to protect this level down here. If you're trying to play the range rotation, makes sense now. If they are willing to hold that and you're willing to buy it, you're looking for these moves: TP1, TP2, TP3. Above that, we can get going up here. All right, so D shape, failures underneath. We're trying to short against that. Fails. 90 is now the level. If they pull back in and hold 90s, that's your level. If they can't hold 90s, you can't be bid. I still think there's potential downside pressure in the market, but at the moment, intraday, what's starting to set up feels like just range control. Nvidia rejected. Yeah, didn't quite get high enough, but it's still above pre-market highs. It did reject on that push, you're right. I just don't think much happening right now. I think the yen market is pricing in expectations now. My belief is that Japanese government and the Bank of Japan will do things that will lead to a stronger yen. That's Besant talking. Core inflation remains very restrained. So I didn't know he was talking. I'm not going to speculate on what the Fed may or may not do. Or they're all into this like, we don't predict and we don't this and we don't do this, but then we do exactly the opposite and we actually tell you, but we just don't like to use the same language. G20 remarks, thanks, mate. You're long from 370s. A little bit early for me, but fair enough. I guess you got tight risk. Yeah, I agree. Besant's a speculator. I agree. I agree. They say, oh, we don't speculate, but then we say things which are speculation. Or we don't give guidance, but then we give guidance. They all do the same. It's so funny. It's quite amusing, the ploys that they come up with. Thank you, darling. All right, back to that zero line. So this is what we talked about. If they get through the 90s, They come point of control, zero line, and previous day and current day value area low. There's the full rotation again. So we're just, all we're doing is this. No follow through, nothing to do. This is going to be like sit still as long as you can kind of day. And it might be a sit still all day. We've had 2 trades and that's it. That's a lie. We had a trade here basically for nothing, right? We had an attempt here and I had a very tight stop. Actually, stop was more than break even. So we got nothing out of it. That's it. It's just, it was a scratch because I was looking for this. Like this. No, I can't do it. Move my TP down, can I? Can't show it. Whatever. So 2 winners. This one took a few attempts. I think it was this one. Took a few attempts. Nice winner. Few attempts. Nice winner. Basically scratch. Sat still. Are we log? No, because it didn't come back to 90s. All right, unfortunately. That's the level I'd be willing to be long at now because we failed underneath. I don't want to trade point of control. I want a cheap trade if I was going to trade that. Some of you are long, some of you bid down here. For me, there was no clear entry down there. Other than that seller who came in on the tape at 77s, and then we traded through the guy at 92 lot at 84s, but we left unfinished auctions and imbalances and we haven't looked back. So they haven't come back for it to backfill. They might just bid up without it. It's fine. They're going to do what they're going to do. Yeah, I see that 800 lot of 420. I'm going to call bullshit on that 800 lot of 420 who's just come on the tape. I'm going to call absolute bullshit. Get ready for him to pull. There we go. Oh, he left. Or did they fill? Did they fill some of it? He tried to leave. He tried to leave and got filled. Oh, he's going to be upset. Well, now we have that's a fucking massive order. 936 lot sell side at 420. That's actually huge over under now. Jesus Christ. I think he tried to pull that and couldn't get out quick enough. If we stay under 420, we stay heavy. That's a big level now. That is a big level now. Because he's tried to prop up the bid there and he's not getting his way. If we get back over 420, then they can lift and complete this move to 460 and all the way up. Why the fuck are you willing to buy 800 lots there at the zero, just in front of the zero line? In front of VWAP, I guess. Let me see what's above. Is that just one big boy all by himself? There's nothing else. Kind of bizarre. Well, we're applying pressure to him at the moment. We can't get over his level. Another 500 lot just come on the tape now at 400. I assume we're going to come and test if this guy's real as well. That's 420s. Well, we've got a player on the tape for the first time. Let's see. Let's see if he walks up, or let's see if we backfill him, and let's see if he pulls. Love the Born. You're a knob. All right, here we go. Testing him. He's real. He's filling. He reloaded there. He got filled some and reloaded there. And pulled. pulled. He reloaded a couple times and then pulled. How much got filled there? 156. 200 of him got filled. So he bid 200 of his 400 and then pulled. Or 500, sorry. Moved down to 380. There you go. Yeah, so he's trying to attract the market lower. He's not walking up. See how he's walking down? He's trying to use his size to attract the market to his positions. And then what he's trying to do is pull the order and let it through, which to me at the moment is suggesting he's actually a seller. I know he's bidding, but it makes me think he's a seller and that wants lower. So he's trying to cover shorts lower. That's what it makes me feel. I don't think he wanted to fill his 800 lot at 420. I think he wanted to fill it much lower. And he got caught a little bit. Am I going to play their pain? Well, kind of hard at the moment. We have to respect 90s at the moment. Right, this level here, I guess 80s to 96s, we have to respect that at the moment. At the moment, I'm just observing. There's not a whole lot to do in here. But he is making me think that he's actually a seller who's potentially covering some positions and wants to cover as low as possible. So he's filling a bit and then pulling it, hoping people will try and fill his orders, and then he's going to let it come through and through and through. It's like the opposite to a rigged small cap going upside. It's like literally the opposite. Let's see. And we're coming for 80s. See if he pulls. Pulled again. Now he's at 60s. You see the game? He's just moved down to 60s now. Maybe we can walk it down. The problem is we have to respect these levels down here. Like maybe if we pop and sell 400s, but we have to be very, very, very careful down here. Under 420, sellers are in control. So maybe if we pop up a little bit and show failed follow through of 400, maybe. It's a very tough trade because the hourly is, we've already hit, remember the low hanging fruit was 360. We can trade down here today, which is what we'd like. I'll just observe price as we come into 400 here and see what it wants to do. 420 is the level that sellers need to keep it under. Over 420, potential squeeze out can happen. So here's 400s. See if they test this 420s or not. All right, I'm short, small piece there, 4s. I'm only risking this current high. If they break this, I don't care. I'll take it off, but basically scratch again. So stops at 06s. Risking like a couple points, not a big deal. Just like earlier, I'm tight with the stop. So I'm trying to use the guy in pain, and if we don't use him, then we're going to come up to 420s, and I don't really fancy risking 20 points and then seeing a rip through 420s. Almost taking me out there on that week high. Very, very close. So again, the same thing here. Short here, I'm risking just this wick here, and I'm trying to look for this trade here now. Don't mind risking like 5 points. There we go. Out. Again, I feel like I got filled before it hit it. That's twice today. That's some bullshit, man. That is twice today. I don't think I've seen that. I'm going to assume this made a new high there. What the fuck? Mate, this is starting to feel like fucking CFDs if you're going to give me fields which didn't exist twice. What the fuck, mate? I don't think you know what you're talking about, Clevis. It's got nothing to do with my stop loss being too tight, you fucking knob. Price didn't go there. Doesn't matter if there's a lack of liquidity. Price still needs to go there. It still needs to go there because my stop is market side. The price would still need to go there. Oh my God. I'm not even going to bother. You guys are fucking talking absolute out your arse. You don't know what you're talking about. Knob jockeys, that's a good one. Clevin, the knob jockey. Oh, it's because your stop is too tight. It's got nothing to do with that. My stop's placed there for good fucking reason, mate. To protect against these kind of moves. I don't mind being stopped out. I have a problem being stopped out when price hasn't gone to where my stop is. Happened to you on D charts today. Also had a stop loss break even plus 30, but swept to minus 50. No, well that's different. That's different. That is a run on liquidity, right? So that's different to what I've had. You got run through your level, right? That's different. That would be like you having your stop loss here and getting filled here because volume spike came in. That's very different to having your stop loss here and getting filled underneath it. That should never, ever, 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 ever happen because we haven't transacted at a price. Slippage and not transacting at a price are not the same thing. You think a knob's a twat? No, a knob is a dick, mate. That's what a knob is. All right, as we come back up to zero line, but my stop was too tight because I should like risk all this for a negative RR. You know, get the fuck out of my chat, you goon. It's not syncing the clock, mate. It's got nothing to do with syncing the clock. All right, chat's going off. I can't cope with like the the nonsense. I can't do it. All right, here goes a rotation. So from one side of value into the other side. Tried to see if there was some follow through here because we had this player taking control. He's now out of position and they can lift now. If all these sellers piled in, they can now lift. And what did I say? 90s needs to hold. There we go. Maybe I should have just ignored the tape and taken that. To be honest, that's the trade. There we go. Got too biased because of that player. Yeah, I'm starting to think we should have. We said it needed to come back in there. If you're going to play the range, that's what needs to hold. That was the second attempt to break lower. It didn't. break lower. That's the bears getting stuck. That's now the lift. I should have flipped there instantly. I should have instantly flipped there. Instantly. Because that is the LVN to protect. And that is your TP1, and now your TP2, TP3, TP4. And it's too late to join now. So I'm just going to leave it. Still nice and green today. Not willing to give back though. Your CVD is different to mine. It just might be the way we're calculating it and the smoothing that takes place on it. All right, edge to edge, value area high, back to point of control now. If they lose point of control, back to 90s. If they bid point of control, back to value area high. Just the washing machine here. Nvidia finally tested pre-market high just now. Caught a bid there. MAG coming back up to previous day low. All right, so MAG and software are trying to bid. Semis are at lower day right now. What's this market? Well, at the moment, we're range bound. Like, again, you've got to zoom out. We don't have high expectations today, right? Let's start again from the beginning of the day. What did we talk about? Here is your node. We're underneath the node, so there's a degree of pressure, but they're starting to extend this node down towards 2 and 300, right? There's a little LVN here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we just make this node like this, right? We're a fat old node. And then eventually it will make the decision on what it's going to do. So we already know, all you have to do is look left and be like, okay, this is the market. Then you have to think about seasonality. Seasonality also dictates low volume until we get to Q4 at the moment. Everyone's on holiday, which means what? Probably more likely of chop. Then you have to think about midterm year. Also more likely of this to bearish look, to be honest, for a midterm year. Right, then you have to look at value areas and the hourlies. Right, we're trading inside previous week's value. There's previous week value area high. Here's the edge that I keep talking about, which is previous day value area low. Right, inside, if they get inside here, they try and revisit this, and then we chop in this range here. At the moment, we're backside of this move here, right, with potential move down to here, but we've hit low hanging fruit, which is what? Right here. Right, so here's your node, and here's where you're traversing between. We come from high volume node to high volume node to high volume node, back towards high volume node, back towards the midpoint. And this, right, we're starting to thicken out in the current week's profile. So we're filling in this imbalance with balance in the current week. Does that make sense? We're thin here previous week. We're thickening out that level already, because when we're out of balance, right, here's balance. When we lose balance, we search for balance. There's balance. We search for balance. There's balance. Now we're going backwards and forwards so much that we're creating balance. Yeah? It's all there. It's there for you. It's there for you to see. We also, if we think about GEX, neg, neutral, neg, neutral, neg, neutral, neg, neutral. Is there news today? No. All right, so we're going to build out liquidity. There's a bearish edge in this market right now, but positioning is hard. You blew your eval and you're funded. Well, then you're oversizing, or you're positioning in the wrong spots, or you're using stops way too big, or, you know, there's... My stops today have been like between 20 and 5 points big, all right? And I'm still sizing with micros, all right? This is a low probability day. All right, here you go. This is not a day to size up. And this is after like 3 like small losses as well, all right? This is not a day where you need to be sizing and pushing, is it? We're not in an A+ market. You have to have discipline. People are, you're using stops too big. No, I'm fucking not. I'm not. I'm using stops in the correct location based on what's happening on the tape. Absolutely. I'm sizing correctly for the probability showing up right now. You have to learn self-control. Not every day is built the same. This thought process that we're going to make the same money every day or have the same possibilities every day. Right now, and I would say since May, other than small periods of time, it's been a stock pickers market. That's what it's been, because what we've had is stocks with relative strength. Not even, I mean, yes, okay, we can argue it. Software, energy, financials have had relative strength. That's why we've been swing long in them. But within those sectors, there are individual names which are way outperforming the sector. It's a stock. The edge right now, when we go sideways, in general, in a market, when you really look at May to now, other than a failed breakout lower, we're like this. Okay? When we do that, the edge in the market is in individual names. It's not in the indexes. You could even argue the edge is in oil or gold more than it is here right now. Mentioned a week ago, picking stops in key areas rather than dollar amounts, and that changed the whole way I look at my stops. Yeah, it should never be based on dollar amounts. You can risk based on dollars, but that stop needs to be based on where that trade is invalidated. So it might be a shelf. It might be a swing point. It might be a big player. Murphy been cleaning up on GC. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, mate. It's probably a lot more edge. I mean, what are we trading today? 1.11% down. Look at crude, 2.18% up, trading at 85. I mean, that's where the edge is right now. If we have a look at some individual names, I'm sure there's some relative strength today. All right, Tesla, there you go. There's edge, 4.64% up. Energy, right? There's probably edge in there. Even if we look for big losers, Goog, there's edge there. Travel sector, there's edge there. Like Airbnb, there's a good one. What's this? GD, edge there, short side, 2.19% down. All right, you're looking for stuff with relative strength or relative weakness. That's where the edge is in the market. The edge is not in a market which is going nowhere. All right, we've been very fortunate. I've said this many times. I keep saying to my old man, I don't know if I have a year like this again with the swings, because the market's rewarded us numerous times this year. All right, if you were long in any of this, you were rewarded. All right, for a swing point view, even if it wasn't in this, even if it was in specific sectors. So mags for a long time this year didn't do anything. I'd still argue it's not really doing anything. But if you picked this up, it was great. Where did we make money in the mags? Really, it was from 2025 summer. All right, here, this is where I'm swing long from in most of these names. All right, anyone who's in Discord knows we're long Apple and AMD and all these things from here, right? So we can sit through this and see if we can get one of these. All right, that's where the edge is. The edge is not in here right now. There's not a lot of edge in there right now. Right, look at IGV. We've been swing long for the relief out of here. Okay, great. We can sit through this right now. If we think about IBIT. All right, we swing long from down here. Okay, great. We're positioned really well. There's the undercut. There's the reclaim. We're long. If we can stay over the 200-day, maybe we go. Either way, I trimmed some last week. Right, this is where XLV, all right, Fantastic. We're long from down here, right? So while NQ is doing this, right, we're making money on this move. XLF, the same story. Right, swing long from down here, and we're in this move, right? Now, I'd rather be swing long. There are some individual names in here which I tried to get long in numerous times, right, which are very, very frustrating, which stopped me out a few times. So I'm swing long in SoFi. I am swing long in SoFi, and that one's working out pretty nice. And I'm trying to position, right? I'm long, trying to position to see if we can get this 20 break, all right? I don't want this bear flag to break down. I'm trying to position to see if we can get this 20 break and get over the 200. The one I really want to be long in, which I had 3 attempts in and couldn't get to go, is this, right? We had numerous attempts down here this year, and then it ran, wouldn't backfill me into this, and has gone away. That's the big winner. There are some guys in Discord who are long in this. Congratulations, all right? Because you are long from like down here. All right, that's where the money's made. Look, 138% run. Again, individual names, stock pickers market right now. It is a stock pickers market. Why is it a stock pickers market? Because there is not a whole lot of edge in the Nasdaq in this area, right? Because this is balance, all right? And we're not going to find a huge amount of edge in balance. We leave the balance, we come down here, great edge. We leave the balance and we do this, great edge. In here, summer months, not a whole lot of edge. Right, turn chat back on. Wish I had money to swing longs, man. Well, if you don't have money to swing longs, you don't need a lot of money to swing longs, by the way. If you don't have money to swing, you could always use a prop firm for that stuff. Right? There are prop firms specifically built for that. Trade the pool, for example. Brandon, up $6,048, mostly from last night. 2 trades this morning. Nice work, mate. Let's go, mate. High five. Nice work. Thoughts on Rigetti? I haven't looked at it for a little bit. Where are you trading right now? That whole pack. 15s. I mean, these are all a long way out, these quantum names. It's an interesting level. I would prefer the bid here if this had swept. Right? If this had swept and then done this, I'd prefer the bid there. It's an interesting level. I mean, these are punts. These are long way out. Overall, I prefer IONQ as a company. Long-term prospect. Still holding okay here. As a company, I prefer this, but these are punts, mate. All right, these are 10-year punts. If you're going to be in those, and you have to respect your stop each time. They're tradable, but I don't know if you're talking about a trade or you're talking about an investment and hold. I think we want to be long oil refineries in Venezuela and Argentina right now is what we want to do. Because Trump's clearly done a deal there. And there was a big investment made there by, who is it on the Trump's board that did a deal there? Same guy that invested in PayPal and Nvidia early on, who put money into Argentina about 2 to 3 months ago. I'm going to find it. Yeah, Peter Thiel. You're right. It was Peter Thiel. Thanks, mate. Yeah. And he probably knows something we don't because he was in that boardroom meeting with them all. Not insider trading if they just like tell you what's going to happen and you just place a speculating bet on it. Kind of makes sense why the war with Iran's being dragged out right now, doesn't it, in some ways? Am I in any trade at the moment? No, mate. No. Nothing. Traded this. Had 3 attempts at this. Got this. Traded this. Stopped out. Traded this. Stopped out. Should have traded that the other way, to be honest. Should have just lent on this now. I'm not going to look short side at the moment. We're now building out this range. If they hold above this, they can come for value. Maybe here. But more likely now, I want to wait for big extremes. We're just chopping this range right now. I need to wait to see what the market does outside of this range. I'm not going to become liquidity in here as we start to thicken it out. Don't think there's a lot of edge in the market, so it's good to just sit still. Yeah, semi's breaking down, mag's breaking up, right? So they're doing the opposite. Semi's breaking down, mag's breaking out. Software holding the highs. We'll see. Maybe they tank everything together. Maybe they suddenly find a bid on everything altogether. I mean, semi swept, and they're coming back for PDC and initial balance. If they stay heavy here, the moves to 110s on semis. What brokerage do I use on swings? I have multiple different brokerage accounts. It depends on what I'm trading. IG, IB, 212. I recently opened up a, and I haven't funded it yet, a Robinhood account, which I might fund as I start to learn options a bit more, specifically for that. I still have some TradeStation account. I've got a big account with TradeStation. Those are like long-term buy and holds, and I don't even look at. And I probably still have some accounts with some of the small cap guys, but there's like nothing in there. For Think or Swim for options, okay. I haven't used Think or Swim for a long time. What do you guys think is the best for options? Remember, I've never traded options other than the odd leap here or there. But if I was going to start taking weekly and monthlies, you guys who trade options, what do you prefer? Webull, Robinhood, Interactive, yeah, IB. I have an account with IB. Think or Swim, Tasty Trade, Tasty Trade, Tasty Trade, Tasty Trade. Lots of you like Tasty Trade. Robinhood, Think or Swim. Schwab I'm not going to use. That'll be I will have an account with Schwab soon, but that'll be used, but I have some money managers for some of my stuff. I just don't want to even look at it. Just let them do their job, and then I'll judge whether they're any good. Yeah, Robinhood, one of the easiest interfaces. Yeah, I think the new interface looks pretty good. Saxo, I used to have an account with Saxo. I don't love Saxo, to be honest. European based, but I don't love it. I used to have an account with them a long time ago. They will lose it for you. It's their job. No, it's not their job, mate, because they won't make their comms or get paid anything if they do that. Okay, back down towards this LVN. Semi's coming back down in. Mag coming back down in. We're just trading back down towards value area low now. That sort of 90 level. There are some unfinished auctions down there. I'm just really not interested in much here. We're in a tight range. there is not a lot to do here, folks. This is a, can you practice sitting on your hands? That's all today is. How good are you at sitting on your hands? Your VWAP's different to mine because I'm on MNQ and you're in NQ. Well, there's two. There's New York VWAP and 24-hour VWAP just before it. So this is anchored to the open. This is the 24-hour. Everything looks very messy right now because we're so tight. So it might be because of that. Could be because of MNQ. 35 area. 435s. Yeah, there's been some big orders at 27s, repeatedly happened at 27s up towards 40s, which have failed from a buy side point of view. But down here into the lows, from 400 down towards 84, we keep being absorbed as well. So we're just kind of, we're rotating basically between 30s and 90s at the moment. It's like 40 points of rotation. There's extremes just outside of that, but there's Mr. 500's back on the book again at 380. And Nvidia bidding off that pre-market high as it just dragged back into it. So the last, I don't know, hour or so, it's gently walked back to that pre-market high. It's just found a bid there. It's going to come back up to test 220 now. It's messy, isn't it? Doesn't look so good now. Messi retired from international ball. Well, I lost most of my respect for him at the World Cup, so I couldn't give a shit. Goodbye, mate. Goodbye to you and your stupid fellow players who acted like complete imbecile and assholes in the final. I lost all respect for you. As a captain, you should have done better. Washing machine, yeah, just we're at that high volume node. Look, we're just sat. Even if we take all these off, right, we're just sat in this high volume node right now, churning. Miami got to him. I think he just showed his true colors. I think he's always been like that. That whole team are no bueno, mate. No bueno. All right, good bid on Nvidia back towards these 220 levels off the pre-market level. Very simple trade that. Bid pre-market high, trim some here into 220s and look for the breakout. Like Nvidia's actually playing pretty nice today. And that's where this lift's coming from. Very simple trade. Pre-market high, drive higher, hold the bid here, 220s. That's your first partial. Then you're looking for higher day, 21s. And then if you just look left, right, you're looking for a pivot into 23s. Now there is one at 21s if we come a bit here. All right, so I'll be looking for basically 21s and 23s on Nvidia. That's a very simple trade, that. Buy, partial 21, out at 23s. Very simple trade on Nvidia. And that's what's lifting this market. It's why I have it on the side monitor at the moment. Would I consider a long above previous day value area low? It's very tricky to consider anything up there, mate, at the moment, just because of the build out. All right, this is why we're chopping so much. If I just see this from previous week, Right, so you're saying bid from here. The problem is, look at this. Look how thick we get here. And look at this. Can they do this? Yes. Is that an easy trade? No. No, it's not. It's really not. Right? I'm really uninterested in this right now. I'm really, really, really uninterested in this level here to trade for upside. I mean, because I think that this is this is a problem. This is where all the buyers are stuck from. Let's think about Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, breakdown. Okay. If they keep them stuck, you're going to try and get long and that can get shut on you, right? If you're lucky, they do this and then they shut the door. So I would be unwilling to trade long in that right now. I think it's too dangerous. Yeah. So I'm going to leave that position alone. If it keeps going higher without me, I'm absolutely made peace with that because structurally, I think it's dangerous. I haven't taken a trade in a while. Nice and green on the day, and I've got no interest in the slow chop. Joe, the amount that you're improving at the moment is fantastic, mate. I see all your posts in Discord as well. Really good, mate. Like, just controlled. You're just so much more controlled now and understanding when to execute and when not. It's so good, mate. I'm so happy that you're at this level now where you can sit still. It's fantastic. Indices, VIX, dollars, and bonds all lower. Yeah, I mean, it's just they're not in alignment because we've got no volume really being traded. Everyone's just waiting right now. How many monitors? 4 big monitors, 2 vertical, 2 horizontal, and then a separate little screen for you guys. So Nvidia now through the 220s, and they're going to look for higher day on Nvidia. Semis now through PDC, they are looking to trade back up to that New York Open and 213s. Mags are at high day, they're looking for a breakout here. Has he just walked up or was he here the whole time? Yeah, got a new buyer on the tape, full 10s, 256 slot, and he's just pulled instantly. So he just wanted the market to come down. As we just go back to value area high. If you're a range trader, you should be really enjoying this, just bidding down the low side and selling the top side. That's all the market's doing right now. And he just pulled his bid at 10s. Let's see if we actually travel down there anyway. Here they come. What PC to have? I don't know, mate. I custom built it years ago. It's not a specific PC. Ping pong, yeah, that's it. We're just traversing this area. Remember, this is what I'm trying to make you understand is this is the LVN of previous week that we're making a high volume node this week. All right. So because it was so thin, like balance, we lose balance. We search for balance. We find it. We go back for balance. We find it. We're doing this so much, right? You might get something like this, and we're going to make a fat old node in here, right, to thicken it out by the looks of it at the moment. And then what we're going to do by doing that, if you just think about what that does, what I said to you is a high probability that we will do, is we will extend this node a little bit lower, right? And they're going to make this huge node down here. That's what my feeling is at the moment. They're just going to thicken up that 2026 node. And anyone who's followed me for a while knows that I try and avoid high volume nodes. I really try to avoid them. Laughing. You leave my drawing out of it, Murph. Leave my drawing alone. I'm an artiste. Are there trapped sellers at 400? No, there's some trapped buyers up there from earlier. The last seller that came on the tape is at 32s, 432s. At 400, there was a guy at 20s which is VPOC. There's a little bit. I mean, there's no acceptance underneath 400, but there's no big orders, right? So there's no acceptance, right? If you see this delta from 410 down to 400, there's no acceptance down there. Someone is absorbing the tape, but there's no real big orders here other than these guys. All right, so we're just ping-ponging. We're just ping-ponging here. It's just range. It's tight range. These are the days where I just relax. We just relax. Either we'll get another opportunity or we won't. It's not like we haven't had trades. We had 2 really good trades. Scratch down here, scratch down up here. When I say scratch, I'm talking about like, you know, a 5 to 10 point loss, sometimes a break even, right? That's fine. I don't mind doing that all day long. I'll do that all day long. How are we doing on the likes? I'll tell you what we are going to do at the end of today, well, maybe tomorrow, is I'm going to give away those 50 Apex accounts. So thank you everyone who made a donation. What I'll actually do is see where we're at with that donation as well. If I can log in. Nice, guys. 1,300. I will probably double that donation. I'm going to make a nice, decent donation to them. Can I post the donation link? Of course I can. This is the donation link. Who's the donation to? It's to Vibrant. All right, Vibrant. They're a mental health organization, and they manage 988. All right, and you can watch the whole video on it. I did a whole video explaining who they are, why I'm choosing to donate to them, the importance of them, and the importance of mental health. And it's not held by me. I don't want you to think that I hold the money. That's why we're using Tiltify. Great name for traders. Tiltify. All right, back to value area low here again. All right, and if buyers don't hold this, we're going to traverse all the way back down again. So it's from one edge, or we can't draw from one edge to the other edge, right? This is where buyers are trying to absorb. This is where sellers are trying to absorb. This is the range being built out. That's the story of the tape right now. The big buddy's gone. Oh yeah, he's been spoofing all day long. He's probably moved lower, or he's just completely pulled. He flashed right then to come back on and then left. Let's see. Yeah, nothing. So this is the same as earlier. Down here, for now, all the selling down here keeps getting absorbed and we come back. For the upside, we can't break over value. I still think there's downside edge in the market. There's not a lot of edge in this market at all right now, but all the time we're underneath that sort of 70 level, 470 level. All the time we're underneath here. I think higher time frame sellers have a little bit of control right now. Google touching the 200-day daily. What's the argument against starting along here? I mean, there'd be no argument long-term about starting along there. Zero. There might be something against structurally how it looks. Filled the gap. There are some more gap fills available down here. 219 to, sorry, 319 to 324. It looks pretty good in terms of value area. Right, so I'd say maybe a bid anywhere down here is worth it, but you've got to know if you undercut that, you've still got gaps down here. And what I'd say at the moment, that's a fail break higher and it's coming back in. And if you're a Wyckoff believer, then that's what you think might happen. I'm not saying that's what happens. It's what you think might happen. I also don't like that they didn't undercut here. That is a problem. So can we bid out of this? Certainly. Would I feel more confident if it had done this? Certainly. Would I feel more confident if it built range and done this before sweeping the highs? Certainly, right? Because we've run that liquidity. We haven't run that liquidity. We haven't filled the gap. Long term, though, probably a good position. Long term, 5 to 10 years. Probably can't argue with you there. It depends what your time frame for the trade is and how far you're willing to let the market go against you. The email to send the receipts to, if you just watch the video and it'll go underneath the video, the link is in there. But the receipts should be going to fztcharity@gmail.com. That's how you get entered into the competition. Chad, just seen your email. I'm going to sort you out right now, my friend. Sorry, my friend. I don't know when you sent that, but I see you. Let's get you set up. All right, failure to break out there from NVIDIA. Still holding pre-market highs, but failing to break out there. Semis are glued around PDC and IB. Failure to break out from MAG as well. We're still in range here. Still no follow through. But I'd be watching to see if they stuff this and do this play here at the moment. That's probably the only thing that will interest me if they do that. Would I not agree that the trading value area is the same as Wyckoff? What do you mean? Do you just mean on the chart we just looked at? Yeah, but the difference is we did a failed breakout higher and there's lots of liquidity left below, right? So Wyckoff, if we do this, right, and we come back in, right, that's your failed breakout or the spring, all right, and that's the sign of strength, right? And then you go into the expansion model. So if you look at Google, that's what we've just done. We've run that and we've left some stuff here. The difference is where we've traded to, like here, right? We've got a gap underneath. We've got swing stops who have been left, and we're at the 200-day there. If they lose the 200-day, they can come lower. I'm not saying long-term it's not a good investment, but it's concerning. The whole market is concerning right now. We are on a knife edge in general on this market. Am I in Tesla? No, I don't invest and don't trade in Tesla. I don't like it from a swing point of view unless it comes deep discount. I think those days have probably gone. I think it's a fantastic intraday trading asset because the volatility on it is high and there's a lot of options trading on it. So from a day trade, I think I love it the same way as NQ. From a swing trade, I don't really enjoy it. That's just me. Hey, thank you for the donation, man. That's very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. Stocks all looking to drift lower at any target. Well, if you break current low of day, right, which is basically like the 110.90s, you have previous day lows at 110.25 and you have a put wall at 110. So it looks like that's where it's attempting to get to if it can break lower. It's rejected its call wall a few times. It can't get back over the New York Open, but we're just glued here and stuck, right? Mag's finding a bid off its midpoint. So if we come over here, just think about this. Mag's coming back to mid. Might not look like mid, but it is. We zoom out. There's your mid. Right, Mag's bidding off midpoint. Semis walking down. All right, and the question is, can they break lower, or do they do a fail breakout and come and clean up all this? IGV looks the healthiest right now. Looks pretty good. All right, well, this is just on the first rejection that I'd look for. So it's rejecting point of control. I want to see if we stay heavy underneath all of this range now. I need a bathroom at the key point where I need to watch this market now to see if there is sell pressure coming back in. Same trade thought process as earlier. If we reject point of control and we get stuck under 390s and the market starts to roll, there might be a trade lower. If they just keep protecting value area low, then there'll be nothing to do. Right. Let's see if I can use a bathroom before this does the move. All right, folks. All right, back to these 90s. I'll watch to see if we stay heavy underneath all of this, if there is a continuation trade. It's that kind of 90 level is key, 90 and 410s. So this is the first part. Remember what I just drew out? I want to see this reject, midpoint, and then I want to see if they're going to build this out here and wash. If not, if they just keep holding in here, I'm not interested because this will happen the same as here, right? So I'm looking to see if they're willing to do this move. If not, there's nothing going to do with it. I'm not going to trade back inside. It's a choice, right? Doesn't mean you have to do the same. It's a choice. All right, semis approaching lower day. Let's see if they flush that out for the 110 move. That would give good confluence if semis do break. We're just trading around value area low right now. Video coming back to that pre-market. It's a shame Nvidia hasn't got up to like 221 and 223 and stuffed it. That would be much like feel much more confident that a rollover would happen up those levels with Nvidia. He taught me to wait for confirmation before entering. I used to blow up accounts trying to anticipate pullbacks. Now I just chill and watch. Nice, man. Yeah, that's it. It's important to just let the market do what it is it's going to do, and then we attack. And all we can then do is put our risk on and manage that risk accordingly. We can't do anything else. It's another attempt to get back through the 410s there. Semis failing to break low of day. They're coming back towards PDC and IB. So at the moment, semis are failing to push lower. They're just glued around that IB and PDC right now. If they do break lower, then that 110 move comes in. So I'm just kind of waiting to see if they're willing to do that, if MAG is going to roll with it. So if MAG pushes 6870s and stuffs, that would also help. And if NVIDIA would need to get into pre-market churn levels, that's a good failure up there. That's a very, very good sign that this trade might be willing to set up for us. But so far today, we have to remember there has been absolutely no interest in this market trading underneath this. Right, everything here has been absorbed and traded back up, right, all day long. Right, this is the level that they keep absorbing. So if I'm going to look for expansion, we have to get under this and show me that it's willing to do it. My new rules after watching you. 1, improve the entry. 2, accept the exit. 3, never rescue the trade. What do you mean by never rescue? Like never try and trade your way out of that position? I think that's a really good way of putting it. That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, great way of putting it, mate. It's a great way of putting it. Okay, back to point of control again. So still no acceptance under here. And if they get through this, there's two options. Either we're going to see this, or we're now going to do this to the top side again. I don't know which they want to do. I don't think they know which they want to do. Another fail breakdown from semi, straight back to PDC. Here's your first Monday after another trip round the sun. Pint or cocktail or coffee. Cheers, mate. Hey, thank you very much. Very kind of you. It will probably just be a coffee for me. I didn't drink a lot on my birthday. I was very well behaved. I had one whiskey cocktail. I didn't even have a stogie. I took one with me, and I just wasn't in the mood. Wasn't in the mood for it. I had one beer last night. That was it. Very well behaved. Not like last year. I think I smoked every night and drank myself into complete oblivion in Mexico. And ate so much food. But 40 and 41 are very different. 41 just felt like another day, just with more grey hair. Do I smoke cigars? Yeah, I do. As a treat. It's not common for me, but I like them for occasions. I do enjoy them. Enjoy them if I've got friends over that I've not seen for a long time, or it's birthday or some form of occasion. I like it. All right, here's the move on mags we just talked about. This lift back up to 68 70s, and if they stuff this on mag, it would be failed follow through. Semi straight back through PDC, so we're continuing to chop here. Look at this. IGV is trying to lift. This is what I'm saying. IGV looks like the better out of all of them, as it has done for a while. Mags into this key level, right? So if they stuff mags, this comes back down. If they hold this, then they'll just battle this level for a little bit. The problem with semis right now is if they fail to break lower, then the relief starts, right? Remember, the common thing is failing to break lower is where bears get trapped at the lows, and then you see the squeeze relief start. So that would be my concern right now. That's why we need to wait. We really need to wait to see. I'm moving to LA next year with my girlfriend. Is there anything I should know beforehand from a fellow Brit? Do you know which area you're moving to? I'll warn you of a few things, and this isn't meant to put you off, but I don't know where are you from in England. I'd say these are the things you need to understand straight away. for a lot of Americans, certainly for LA, you need a car out the gate because you will never, ever, ever do anything spontaneously, right? It's all planned. It's not a walkable city, right? So that'd be the first one. Second one is the area you live in will drastically dictate your lifestyle. You're from North London, all right? So it's very similar to my move. Do you know where you're moving to? Yeah, it's very expensive. Very expensive. You're going to have a shock when you go and do your food shop and stuff like that first time round. But yeah, they drive like shit. There's another one. They don't know how to drive. But yeah, where you live will drastically change your life. My preference is on the west side. I like being close to the beach, right? It's about 10 degrees cooler there as well. You live in Santa Monica and love it. Yeah, Santa Monica's a cool spot. Not heading to Creamfields. Mate, if I'm not playing a festival in the UK, which I don't do anymore because I've retired, then I'm not going. Starting in Downey because her family is there. Where's Downey? Trying to see where you are. Oh, you're inland a bit. Be hot. Be hot up there. But you have a great time, man. It's so different to London. Weather's pretty much always amazing. You'll have a fantastic time. Fantastic time. All right, here goes NVIDIA. They're bidding again, coming back up to day's highs. Semis are still stuck. This thing's still in range. There's literally absolutely nothing to do right now. And 720, remember, is that big seller on the tape that we had earlier. That's his level. You can see him right here. So we're above him now, and he can potentially be in pain if he starts to cover. And if semis fail to break down and they start to turn around here, the blue line, there's a lot of stops to run if they do that. And look at mag lifting and software lifting, and this thing can go. If they want to do it, this thing can go. How long have we got left? 10 minutes to lunch. What a tight range we've had today, eh? All right, mag approaching high day. So he went straight through that level. Back up to neutral zone, value area high, and then back down to midpoint. There's literally nothing. There is absolutely nothing to do here in my mind. You'll have a good variety of food. I'll tell you one thing which is completely false. Completely false. So like the Mexican food here is great. There are some good restaurants. It doesn't even compare to London. The narrative that America has the best food in the world is absolutely laughable. It literally doesn't even compare. It's not even a little bit comparable to London. No chance. No chance. Only people that say that are people that have never actually traveled. It is not even close. New York has the best food in all of the America. Yeah, it's probably accurate. I would imagine that's very accurate. It's not lies. I bet you've never traveled though. You're very typical of someone from America. It's like, no, we have the best food. You don't. You don't have the best ingredients. You don't have the best culinary experiences. Even your restaurants are mostly in shopping malls, right? Even the look of the restaurant, even the approach of the restaurant even the service of the restaurant. It's not even vaguely close to anywhere in Europe. It's a joke. And I've lived in all these places, and I say it as someone who still lives here and is moving to Texas. It is not even close, I'm afraid. You can be insulted all you want. It's not close. Go and have dinner at the Waterside Inn and then tell me LA is better. Go and have brunch at the Wolsey and tell me LA is better. Go and eat in Dishoom and tell me that LA is better. It's laughable. It is absolutely laughable that anyone even says that. Go and have Greek food. Go and have meze. Go and have Lebanese food. Go and have Turkish food. Oh, you can't. You just get shit versions of it. No, I'm not bugging. I'm serious. Without causing offense, I'm probably way more traveled than everyone on stream. Way more. So I've eaten all these places, and I've lived here, and I've lived abroad. I spent 10 years of my life traveling the world with work. Like, trust me, you don't have the best food here. You're not even close. You're not even close. Like, I've been to China. I've been to Thailand. I've been to Bali. I've been to Russia. I've been to Ukraine. I've been to Australia. I've been to New Zealand. I've been to all through South America. I've been to Medellin. I've been to every country in Europe going. Like, it is not even close. 60% of your food and ingredients here isn't even allowed to be sold in Europe because it's so bad for you. That just ends the conversation. The end. The end. Yeah, like, okay, someone mentioned Portugal, like a pastiche. You don't even know what that is here. You couldn't even replicate it if you tried. Like, it's just not even close, guys. And I say that as someone who lives here. I live here. I would wish the food was better here, but it's not. And the amount you pay for it as well is a joke. Yeah, I've been to Sri Lanka. Spent 3 weeks in Sri Lanka on my honeymoon. Did I eat in Portugal? Yeah, of course. I've been to Portugal like 3 or 4 times. It ain't close, all right? That's not said as an offense, but like, if you get the chance to travel, to all you people from America, if you get the chance to travel and leave your country, do it. Broaden your horizons. Learn the other cultures. See how other people live. See how ripped off you're getting. See how your produce is not even comparable to elsewhere in the world. It'd be really good for you. It would be really, really good for you to do that. Really good for you. It will just give you a more rounded perspective on the world. It's so important to travel, like to learn other cultures. So important. New Orleans, Houston, or New Orleans has the best food in the US. I'll have to take your word for it, B, because I've never been. But I have heard the food there is amazing. And I think I am actually going to go in November because I have one of my best buddies is over with his partner. So I think they're going on holiday there. So I'll probably take a trip to see them. All right, and back down to value area low. You got 4 minutes left. This is fun. And guess what? Semis are actually breaking lows now. So they held up and they're now breaking lows. So we'll see what happens down here. I'm only interested if we leave this area. I'm not interested in anything else. I'm not going to trade the range. I'm not going to guess the top. I'm only interested if there's follow through. You think Moroccan food and Italian food are top notch? Yeah, I love a tagine. I love Moroccan food. But there's some also great Moroccan food in London. Why? Because there's a lot of Moroccan people. There's a lot of Indians. There's a lot of Pakistanis. There's a lot of Moroccans. There's a lot of Lebanese. There's a lot of Greeks. There's a lot of Turkish people. Like London has such a cosmopolitan group of people that we are lucky and blessed in London that we get to experience some of their culture when they open up, right? The immigration is healthy in that respect. Yeah, I'm the same. I love Turkish, any Middle Eastern food. Mochaya, anyone that's had that, beautiful. If it's made well. I haven't been to Syria. No, I haven't been to Syria. I also want to do Jordan and Valley of the Kings and all those things. I mean, those are on my wish list to do over the next 5 to 10 years. All right, back to Valero Low. I'm going to watch this to see if they break. So let's just stop this foodie convo for a minute and see how we act around these 390s again. Semis are now washing hard. Mags did a breakout 5 day and has come right back inside the range. Nvidia failed to break out. We're still protecting this level. I just wonder if there's a wash coming. Probably not over lunch, but just give this a minute or two. This is the level that they keep protecting. This guy here. 402s. That was the move towards 402s. Come on, Bookmap, zoom in because I need to see you. 87s. Oh, I've just missed it while I was trying to zoom in. That might have been it. Yeah, that was it. Fucking Bookmap. Couldn't zoom in quick enough to see the order flow. Well, maybe I'll watch 90s. I wanted that trade up towards 400 there. I just wanted to make sure it was stuck at 402s. We'll see if semis reject anywhere from 110.86 to 111s for follow through. And I only want to take this in the first 10 minutes of lunch. I don't want to get stuck in extra low vol. But I think there's a trade down here to 360s again. Here it comes. Oh, you motherfucker. Here it goes. It's the turn altogether. That's what you want to see. Not in it. Not in it. Your risk really needs to be sort of 90s. I would have preferred to get a fill up here at 402s. That's what I was looking for. But you're into value area low for the current week. We don't want to get short too close to this. This is the danger zone. This is where we expect covers. So this is why I've been waiting the whole day to see if we can churn outside of this and expand. It looks like it's going to go without me now. So fucking hell. I'll see if I can get involved somehow. There's an auction here at 64. Oh, you're coming down into it. Oh my God. I must have missed it by seconds there, or I'll rewatch this tape. I must have missed it by seconds trying to zoom into Bookmap to make sure the guy was stuck. Here it goes, guys. If you are in this, congratulations. You must be covering some into this blue box, all right, which is basically your low of day. And if you get underneath this, you can look for this same move as earlier. Do not let this come back inside of 90s and 400, all right? So this is basically, it's an identical trade to what we've been looking at all day. It's basically trading outside, covers. I would cover some into here, covers, and then down here if you get very lucky. I'm not in it, and I'm not going to be in it now, I don't think. Went to 97, not 400 yet. I mean, it did, and it can still come up to... I was looking at this guy. You see this guy? It's hard to see. This guy here who came in 96s, and this was the guy 412s and 402s just here after this sell auction. So I was watching this where we're very thin here to see if it either protects this guy at 97s or pops 402s. So I didn't get a fill. But this is the move we've been looking for all day. I would just be slightly careful if you're in this. With Nvidia, it's back into its pre-market high level and VWAP. If they let go of VWAP here, you will get a low rotation. And semis potentially, you're watching for 110.20s and 110s. You look good though. The trade looks good. It's very tight risk here, which is nice with these trades. Is they either work or they don't, so you don't have to risk a lot on them. You're long. I mean, I wouldn't be. For me, it's not a long now. You've had numerous attempts. The long would have to be back in a hold back inside range. We built out a lot of liquidity now. If you think about this, we built out a lot of liquidity now. All the longs in here are caught. So unless they get back inside that, if they start stopping out, this can happen, right? Doesn't have to happen, but that's what we're positioned for. And remember, higher time frame. Why I was more focused today on this trade. If we go back to the hourlies, I'll remind you how we always focus on the hourlies, right? It's these players that are stuck Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Backside of the move, failed to reclaim, right? If we break this, right, then this is this, isn't it, on an hourly, right? And this is our covering points down here, right? So just think about structure on hourly. If you made this look really simple, I'm not going to do every little one, but just think about this, right? Into this pool, run as if we got lucky. I don't expect it down there. I expect it down there later in the week potentially, but we're looking for the green box, right? And ultimately, previous week point of control. That's been the same trade all morning because these guys are under pressure. Green box, right? We're still doing this part of the leg. From the green box, they might start bidding back out, right? And this part of the leg, green box, right? This is where I think the bid can develop today. If they don't freak out. Oh, how frustrating, man. This is so frustrating when this happens. Right, into lower day. Ideally, you'd want to protect 75 now, where the last big seller came in. If you can't protect him, then 82s and 8 to 86s can be traded into. There are imbalances still above, all right, 91s to 97s. So be proactive with your stops, but at the moment it looks good. And this lift back on from semiconductors, as long as they stuff 110.85s up to 111s, all right, as long as this moves back and is stuffed into on semiconductors, then you look good to hold your shorts for those who are in it. Again, I'm being transparent. I'm not in it, folks. I wish I was. I'm not in it. This is what I'd be looking for, what I've just drawn out for you. So blue box is your TP1 for those wondering, and then down here. And remember, we have an old gap to be filled down into 322s, which we haven't filled in the New York session. All right, so this hasn't been filled in a New York session yet. If I put this on, you'll see it. It'll come way back here. Hopefully it's still this one here. Oh, 291, sorry, even lower than I thought. 291s. So this still hasn't been filled in a New York session. So I think there's still a trade into this down here, folks. And once this trade plays out, either fails or completes, I'll get off stream. I'll just sit with you for a moment. Zoom in for you a bit. New lower day coming semis. I think you're coming to 110 semis. That last push up just rejected. It didn't even quite make it to those 90s or 85s. So they just rejected 110.78s. I think they're going to trade down to 110.20s to 110 evens. Mag's rolling over now as well. coming back down into its pivot. So think about this on mags. It's mag starting to break backside now as well. Backside. So if they sell versus this now, it's going to get washed into semis under low of day. Didn't even get a good back test to sell. All right, so it's staying heavy. IGV still looks good. Okay, yeah, another day where lots of you not hit that like button for me. Come on, folks, let's get to 1,000 likes and we do a giveaway. When do we add? I don't know if we do add now in lunch, honestly. I don't know if we do add. I would just try and hold on. Just try and hold on to the runners. I'm not sure I'd increase risk. Unless we like, maybe it's very hard like to think about an ad under here, which is what we were thinking about earlier. But now we're now into lunch and we built this out. Feels too risky to me to add down there now. Tape slow down. Well, it will slow down over lunch. Will absolutely slow down. We're almost there on semis. Right, they're approaching that 110.20 level. So there's a little bit of front running. We just hit 110.34s. Just make sure you're being proactive here. You should be taking partials into this blue box. Just like earlier, take the partials, be aggressive with your stop. Do not get loose with a stop. Right, if they start reclaiming 85 and 400, you go straight back into the range. Ideally, you see a rejection of 85 to 400 for you guys to sit in this. But if they start reclaiming it, you want to be done. Add on the rejection of value area low. I mean, I don't know where your core position is, but like if you're adding here and your core position is here, it's not a very good add, is it? Because all you're doing is moving your core down, right? So you're almost better to see this in some ways and add here and your core is here. Does that make sense? Because your break even then is there. If you're just adding more size on here, all right, and it stops you out, all you've done is like move your core very, very tight. We don't like moving our core tight. We do not like moving our core tight. You see then? So if you've added now, you're now out the money from that original position. Does that make sense? We don't add on our original position or around our original position because all you're then doing is increasing your risk. All right, semi's coming back for these 110.80s to 111s. So see if they stuff this. Straight back up inside, all the way back to up to point of control. So hopefully you didn't add there and you took the stop. 400 looks like a decent area for a short. I don't know, mate, because we're now back inside, right? So we've now failed again outside of here. And this can happen again. So I don't like, this is what I mean. It needs to fail outside of here or I'm not interested. Same as all day, really. Otherwise, you're starting to trade around this core. For me, for at least how I'm viewing it, especially in lunch. Especially in and around lunch. All right, semis, 111s here. They have to reject this. If they don't reject this, they're going to go straight back to initial balance and PDC without taking out previous day lows, which means protecting that level and holding the RBS. Straight back upside, look at that. And a lot of that's come from Nvidia, who just bounced off VWAP and are straight back towards 220s again. So there you go. This is the danger. If they now hold this, is that relief move. Back inside range. Tyson trade almost work. Where's the IB low? This? I mean, I guess so. It's just a squeeze out of it. All right, folks. I'm out of here. No trade for me for since when? An hour and a bit. sat still for an hour and a bit, and we'll see what we get this afternoon. I really don't think we're going to get much at all. Potentially some relief if semis get back inside of initial balance, which they're currently just rejecting. Like potentially some relief there, but I don't have high hopes for this market right now. It just seems to be doing sweet FA, right? No likes. I don't think you even got me to 1,000 to do the giveaway, so I don't think we can do them. I tried to get you there. No, you're not there. You're not there. You're in bad habits. All right, team. Big love, everyone. Trade safe. We'll roll that over till tomorrow. I would say be very, very careful now. You're back inside range again. Unless you see failures outside of range, this thing will get very, very sticky. And it'll just keep trading around the core, which is right here in this high volume node. You do not want to get stuck. I would advise you to keep zooming out on the H1. If they can trade lower today, these are the same targets we've had all day. But you have to be vigilant with your stops right now. Vigilant with the stops, because we are building out liquidity here. And you just don't want to get caught the wrong side of it. All right, team. And I will see you tomorrow morning. Let's just see what we've got tomorrow morning. Hopefully we've got some events. Yes, PMI and ISM and job openings tomorrow. So maybe we start getting some a bit more of a move in this market, right? Peace and love, folks. Trade safe. Those of you who are going to trade in the afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Use hard stops.